I want to play this clip. So someone posted a picture of Paul Ryan in his workout garb. Do you remember this, Matt?
Oh, yeah, he's curling.
Yeah, he was curling and he had his hat on backwards and he was making like goofy faces, like literally faces that were like I made a similar face in 1996 or 95 when I did when I was doing the publicity stills for Fox's The Show. It was a lot of like,
oh, sitcom face.
What am I doing here?
Oh, shucks, fish out of water. Those images of him are, for some reason, seared into my brain because they were so weird.
Of Ryan.
Of Ryan.
Okay.
I mean, look at this. This looks like it. Okay. This is the boyfriend that comes in Full House that like, oh, I don't know if,
honestly,
if DJ should be dating this guy.
This is the look that I would have on my face without, frankly, the biceps. But put that aside.
You got the calves, though.
I got the calves. The point is, somebody wrote, this was the most normal VP candidate the Republicans have fielded in ages. But the difference was, at the time, Paul Ryan had at least the facade, and I would argue it was completely a facade, of some type of intellectual grounding on policy. There was this sort of like, moralistic anti-poverty righteousness. And by anti-poverty, I mean anti-people living in poverty righteousness.
They should stop that.
But there was also this veneer of supposed policy prescriptions. We need to reduce the deficit. There was a whole host of sort of supposed policy prescriptions, all of which were just sort of like bunk in many, many, many ways.
And boiled down to, let's cut taxes for the rich.
And would ultimately end up being, let's cut taxes for the rich. And that means that we have to cut Social Security, we have to cut Medicare and this and that. But they had this to ostensibly be the main course for what they were running. And then the sort of the Christian theocratic stuff was a sort of sideline, and the personal responsibility and the pro-family party and all of this other stuff was sort of like accoutrements. But when Trump came in and basically turned the party into, not turned it into, adopted what was the natural progression of the party into essentially a cult of personality, and showed that all of these totems could be easily swapped in or out. It didn't matter. You could, 1 minute it's deficit reduction, the next minute it's like just, full on. As long as we deliver the xenophobia and the God talk and get rid of abortion, none of the other sort of like policy prescriptions. In other words, they were all cultural war issues. And the thing is, they were always in the minority of these issues, and an increasing minority of in terms of holding these ideas, because they are so retrograde that most of their old people are passing away. There is no doubt in my mind that Kamala Harris will get more votes than Donald Trump in this election. There's no doubt in my mind. The question is, will she get those? Will the votes be distributed in such a way that she wins the Electoral College? I don't know. And so they're running on a minoritarian, retrograde, revanchist program, and which is why they are so easily attacked as being weird and out of step. And let's be clear, there is people who celebrate their weirdness, and they celebrate their weirdness because they know, I'm weird. I'm a bit of a misfit. I have different ideas and I don't fit in and conform to society, and I'm okay with that. And I celebrate my weirdness. Like, those are the type of people who I happen to like people like that. They are conscious that they hold different ideas that may be out of step and this and that, may not be the norm. And that's what makes them and their life interesting. Republicans are weird in a different way, in that they don't realize they're weird. They think everybody believes these weird ideas, and it's impossible for them to see it. And so instead of embracing the weirdness, they completely are like, what are you talking about? And this ad has driven them crazy. And frankly, it's incredibly accurate. We have so many, like, we'll play a series of clips after this that are all this ad, except for they're serious. This is an ad put out by a PAC, won't pack down. I don't know who they are, but here's the ad.
Us MAGA Republicans banned abortion, but that's just the start.
That's just the start. If Trump gets elected, we want the government involved in all aspects of your sex life.
Way more involved.
Way more involved.
When you have sexual intercourse, it should be illegal to use contraception. No pills, no condoms.
Your genitals are reserved for procreation.
If you freeze 12 eggs, you should be required to have 12 babies, or else you're a serial killer. And I'm definitely not a serial killer.
Are you?
My son monitors my porn usage to make sure I'm not self-pleasuring.
Just like Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. That's true. You can look it up.
Don't you think that's normal?
Yeah, I do.
It's normal for your son to do that.
You should have a family member monitor your porn use too.
Because pleasuring yourself is very, very naughty.
I'm voting in November.
I'm voting in November.
We're all voting in November. Are you?
Because what happens in your bedroom is up to me.
Is up to me and my son. Also, mouth stuff is a sin.
Oh gosh.
Are they
I
running
like how
that on TV or is that a digital ad?
I think that's a digital ad.
They gotta put that on the Super Bowl.
That is.
I mean, I like how that one guy got increasingly sweaty. They just made him more and more sweaty.
Spray him down between jobs.
Right. Good of those actors taking one for the team, even though that might have not been the most flattering casting call that
Oh
they
my God, are
probably
you kidding?
ever
That's
attended.
that's your favorite role to play.
I would imagine. But the weird thing, okay, so it's a little, I mean, we're so steeped into it, I'm starting to get a little sick of it, which is just because
Well, Hillary participated, so it's kind of over.
Right, but with all that said, that's just because, we're in the middle of these things. I think it's a really effective attack for right now to define the ticket. Because we've been saying this for the past week or so. This is a race to define the Democrats, and because Kamala Harris has so many people that don't know much about her, and to define the Republican ticket, where at the top, everybody knows who Trump is. But J.D. Vance is tanking, and he represents those sweaty guys, right? He wants to get in your bedroom. He wants to determine if you are an active participant in society or worthy of government helping you because you have kids. Those are the kinds of things.
He's judging people based upon whether they have had children or not. And this isn't just simply a question of like, do we want to promote certain things in society? He's basically saying they're not even suitable to lead. I mean, so this isn't a question of like, do we want to help families with kids, which I think is a very good thing to do. We should be helping families, period. We should be helping everybody as a government. But to say that certain people should be excluded or have less of a say within the democracy because they don't have children or they have made different decisions is bizarre. Now, the response when Republicans are being called weird is to get weirder. And this is my whole point about why the Republicans don't understand. They keep proving over and over again that they're weird. And not weird in a good way. Again, weird people in society who are fun and are a good weird are people who understand, like, I'm weird. I don't fit in with the normal, with the norms. And I don't care. And that's what makes me fun. And that's why people want to be around me. Weird, genuinely weird, and really the word is creepy. People
Creepers.
are ones who have no idea. For instance, let's go with that Helen, the one who the tweet about this is how she is. She is a writer for what magazine?
American
is it?
Conservative.
American Conservative. You ready? Damn it. Calling people, quote, weird is such feminine behavior. Textbook sex difference. Men engage in open conflict. Women police conformity. It's honestly disorienting to hear male politicians use the line. Let me tell you something. This is what, now I will grant, I'm a metrosexual. I think we all have established that.
Awesome.
But the idea that, first off, like, this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. These people have no idea how cloistered they are.
Yeah.
She does not realize how absolutely bizarro this theory sounds to normal people's ears. Because, first off, the women police conformity is a reality in her social circles because she is a conservative, because there is just clinically more right-wing authoritarians than there are left-wing authoritarians. It is because there is a patriarchy which defines conservative values. That means women are supposed to stay in their lane. It is clearly defined. And then men get like the other 4 lanes that exist on the highway. And so her perception is that women police conformity. And she doesn't realize that she has this narrow perspective. It is her perception that men engage in open conflict. And therefore, I don't even know what calling somebody weird is somehow submerged conflict.
Well, they can't understand that because the entirety of their policing of gender and sexual roles is about trying to create a normal structure, what they define as normal, which is extremely rigid, extremely sex negative, homophobic, racist. It's about defining a certain kind of family structure, patriarchal in nature, religious in nature, as what is normal. So when you talk about how those confines and those strict structures are in and of themselves weird to a majority of Americans, I mean, even calling Kamala Harris a childless cat lady or trying to hit her for not having biological children but being a step parent. A lot of people in this country are in blended families. I mean, overwhelming majority of people in this country have family members that have been divorced, who may have stepchildren, who may have half siblings. All these kinds of things are a part of the modern American experience. So when you shine a light on people trying to define those roles in some sort of, gender essentialist way, as this person puts it, it makes it feel like completely foreign to people. And that's why the J.D. Vance thing was so bizarre. Oh, wait, here's Matt Walsh.
Here's Matt Walsh also. Many people have, and this is responding to that ad that we played earlier. Many people have noted how the Dems are trying to cast Republicans as, quote, weird. Even though Dems are the party of cross-dressing fetishists, mentally ill transgenders, naked degenerates exposing themselves to kids, hideous cartoonish drag queens who look like Tim Burton characters, etc., etc. But that's the whole point. They want to flip society on its head and make freakish sickos normal and normal people into freakish sickos. Any normal American is looking at this and going, I don't even know what he's talking about. Like, where is he hanging out? In the course of my day, I don't run into, cross-dressing fetishists or mentally ill transgenders or naked degenerates exposing themselves to kids. Like, I don't run into any of this. I mean, I've heard about, pedophilia. And to the extent that I've heard about it, if I'm just an average American, is probably associated with the Catholic Church. I mean, that's just the reality. I've seen cross-dressing. I remember when Rudy Giuliani, America's mayor, did it, and Tony Curtis and what's his face, and Some Like It Hot and Bosom Buddies, with Tom Hanks, and And to the extent that I do know any transgender people, I know one person, and they're really nice. And so, wait, what's the problem? Like, what?
Well, because when you say that transgender people are a very small, minority in this country. I mean, and we're
tiny percentage.
That's part of why the Republicans were unable to run effectively on anti-trans panic in 2022.
$50 million.
It didn't work.
Dollars on ads in Michigan alone. But they cannot help themselves. And this is my point again. They are so weird. Not because they are non-conforming or rebels or this and that, or they're interesting. It's because they don't realize how out of step they are. And they think that reminding people of how weird they are is proof that they're not weird.
It's amazing.
It's because they're not like us. This has always been the case. Like whether it's a Republican saying we should put somebody between you and your gynecologist, or hey, we need somebody between you and the school board, or actually this high school sports to inspect some genitals. You should always picture those guys from the ad, and it's nice that this is actually getting played. But I would also bring people back to Walls' original point when he said it's weird. It wasn't just the cultural stuff. He said it's weird to means test hungry kids. We just feed them in Minnesota. And I would like that point to be kept with people. That simple policy that just delivers for people is the fundamental point of being normal.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.